What's up, TeamJVS? We're back with another review. We are here with the Acolyte. So this is something I know a lot of us have been waiting for, and this is of course going to be a non-spoiler, but I'm really excited to dive into this. We got, you know, a little group right here. I do want to start off with my boy Ronin Unchained.
What's up,
How you
man?
doing, man?
I'm good. As I've been saying, it hopefully you see the other bits of the episodes, is that as a Star Wars fan, this is the most freshest and coldest entry I've gone into a new chapter in this galaxy. Like I didn't read the High Republic books and stuff, but shout outs to the part of the fan base that did. It's a lot to commend them, and I'm very happy and intrigued with what I've seen thus far.
All right, and how about you, Sam?
Yeah, you guys, I know nothing of this. I think the only thing I got an understanding of who is in the cast, and I also knew certain things from a production photos that kind of came out a year ago, or maybe a year and a half ago at this point. But from what I've seen, you guys are not going to be disappointed at all. Like it's got a lot. It's got great acting. It's got a great story, dope freaking action. But I guess we're gonna dissect that in a second.
And one thing I do want to start off with is a big thing about this is it's set years prior, and we are familiar with this. We know it's going to be set years prior to a lot of the stuff that we are familiar with. With uh, uh, I don't even want to call it current day, but with the prequel trilogy,
Yes.
original trilogy, all that. So it's a really unique because us three, for an example, we love Star Wars, but we're just not too familiar with what's going on around this era. So it's just really cool. It feels familiar, but at the same time, it just has its own real like unique feel to it. Um, and it's just really cool to watch as a group, considering that like all of us are going into this completely blind. What's something that you guys are, like what is your first thought when you kind of dove into this? Because of course, like I said, it has that familiarity to it, but of course, it's different. It's a whole different time period. Like, how do you guys adjust to that kind of being so different?
I don't want to come off like a dick saying this, but I feel like seeing these dynamics with Padawans and Masters. I like the vibe of the Padawans and Masters here a little bit more than the prequels. Like here, there's a flow, there's a camaraderie more.
Oh, wow, what
They're
a
not
deal!
as what's another word? I don't want to say stuck up, but there's there the essence that you
Like
feel with the
arrogance.
council. Yeah, I mean, with the exception of Obi-Wan and Anakin and Ahsoka and them, and a couple other Jedi Masters and Padawans. This I like the dynamics here where there's
Yeah,
more. A good example is when Master Soul is talking to Daphne Keen's character, and he's like, "You don't have to ask for permission to speak freely,"
and
and I love that about it. I love that there's protocols and they're acting more like rangers, if you will, but the camaraderie is felt there. There's nothing too stuck up. They're not on a pedestal yet. Maybe they are, but I don't get that vibe from it.
the one thing I do want to say, of course, without giving anything away too much, is I understand what you're saying there. Of course, it's really cool to kind of see. I think the right word is stubbornness, because
Mm-hmm.
they're the Jedi, of course, where we're familiar with them, are they're so set in their ways. They have things done. They feel like it needs to be done that way. No exceptions. But what we're kind of seeing with dialogue in this specific project is we're seeing a lot of what's the word healthy communication. So it's really cool to kind of see them actually talking and discussing things, and when there's situations where people don't look the best, you know some of these characters might actually hear them out, or it's just it's different. It's not like, hey, you look guilty so you're guilty. It's just they are actually discussing things, and it's really cool to kind of see the pieces of dialogue. It just feels like we're getting a lot of character building right off the rip, and obviously that should be happening due to the fact that it's the beginning of a show, but I feel like they're handling everything like that like really well.
Yeah. I
What do
mean,
you
there's
guys think about that?
there's certain things about this I found very fascinating. Without spoiling too much, um, like there was a character that was randomly drunk or doing a little bit too much. Random character that had a tattoo on them. There was, like you guys said, like direct dialogue. It's like, okay, this makes sense. What do you think? Like actual course conversation. And I think it makes it feel more natural. And that was one of the things that I noticed about this series more than anything, that this gave me this feel of the original series. When the original came out, there's this feel to it that felt really natural and organic. And I think that, one of the things that I found very fascinating with this is the transitions, the way that it's shot. It has that feel to it. But I think even the way they wrote this, there's a love letter to certain originality of kind of how this was done. And so I don't know. It's just really interesting. Small little things. I mean, there was a moment where we saw somebody outside of a spaceship, like in, like space garments, you know what I'm saying? So it's certain things that I found that made this feel like it's set apart in a very good way without spoiling too much. It's kind of hard to not say too much.
I agree. Without spoiling stuff, I like to, when we talk about these shows, specifically Star Wars, I like referencing people with what this show may have been inspired by or stuff they use as reference. So, like I told y'all for during Ahsoka, is that's very much the Kira Kurosawa Westerns vibe, if you will. This one, you do feel a little bit of the Kurosawa stuff, but more, I'm getting, what was it? Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. I'm getting some mystery. Like it's a full. These first two episodes are full on mystery. So I get the fugitive vibes, and yeah, you get the sentiment that whoever is making these episodes was a big fan of the prequels, and especially what they were doing when they were interiors and sets, and just expanding on what we just known from the late 70s, early 80s, and familiar yet fresh. That's a fine line that people like to do stuff now in stories and media, and sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes it does work, and no one who's in the know or not in the know feel out of place. And I like that. Like I think people who have been growing up reading the High Republic era stuff and fresh eyes can watch this and enjoy it fully and for different perspectives.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Well, I mean, I really don't know what else to say at this point. I'm trying my best because I know we got to dive into like straight up spoilers, and we're not doing that in this episode. But
Oh,
there's so much to talk about. I mean,
yeah,
there really is. And I again, another thing that I do want to mention, I really like the set designs. One thing that I'm really a big fan of as well are some of the just different accessories that we've seen, or just some of the style choices. We see a situation where they're wearing a certain suit and it just has a real retro vibe to it, kind of like like Earth 60s type vibe. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like,
mhm.
I don't know. Some of the choices that they're making are pretty cool, and I think it's impressive. That's just where I stand.
Yeah. I gotta give credit to the cast, man.
Yes.
Lee Jung-jae as Soul is a whole pound, but
Yeah.
it's interesting because Amilda is crushing it.
Yes.
She's playing so many different ranges, whether it is versatility when it comes to action, or whether it's vulnerability, whether it's anger, spontaneousness. Like there's so many different things that she's threading in this. I give her so much credit. But like you guys said, like Daphne Keane in this one, everybody seems like they have great chemistry. And that's rare. Like a lot of times you got like a point person that kind of like comes out, but is in this, like there's a really good camaraderie and kinship, and I don't know, it feels like they're a family. Like for better or for worse, like everybody feels like they're related to something and connected. And it's all attributed to the amazing acting, but I think that the way that they're scripted benefits from how this story is playing out with their acting. So when you have like a fight with two people going at it, it feels like personal. You know what I mean?
Oh, bro, I want to just say this and then you can go. The force food, y'all.
That man said the force food.
I mean, I don't know if that's the lingo they chose and then they didn't. I'm going with it. The force food. I'm telling y'all, and I told you both this when I was in London. Leslie Headland said that her pitch was either it was back and forth. It was either Kill Bill meets Frozen or Frozen meets Kill Bill. I think it was Frozen meets Kill Bill. Out of these first two episodes, I'm feeling that. again in the Star Wars universe we're at, but with that vibe, I'm feeling it. Continue, Sam.
No. I mean, it all plays into the same exact thing. And to your point, like there are some amazing fights in this, and it's well
Choreography
freaking
is insane.
choreographed. Like the choreography is really good. If you've wanted to see, like, one of us said, like certain aspects of episode 1.
Mm-hmm.
But specifically, if you think about the fighting, it's fire. It's
Mhm.
fire, and they I think they take their time with it. A lot of the shots are either one very close up, or they allow it to stretch so you can see what's really freaking going on, and you know that the actors are committing regardless of what they're wearing, and I just love that.
Yeah.
Yes, I mean, what else is there to say? I mean, I don't know what else.
I
You
am
guys want to drop
binding my.
anything else? You
I
guys
am
have any
binding my
final
tongue.
thoughts? Because I know Ronin is
Go
probably
watch it.
in eggshells
Go
right
watch
now.
it, y'all. The more we watch this stuff, the more they're willing to experiment with stuff. And I don't want to sound like an old man, but I'm just saying I am happy that I get to watch a show that's like a political thriller, espionage, and Andor. I like that we're getting a Samurai Essence show with Ahsoka. I love that we get mini anthology shows like Tales of the Jedi, Tales of the Empire, and I like that we're getting a Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon mystery show with the Acolyte. I think that as of now, again, only first 2 episodes, it just enriches the galaxy more, and you could do more stuff. Maybe we wanted to hear more stories of this era. I don't know, but right now I don't feel bored. I don't feel like I wasted my time. And if I have issues with the show, I'm gonna wait till the end to see. Okay, how did it start off? Because right now, 1-2 punch. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, dude, like the first episode, it's a lot longer than what we saw from the second, but it didn't feel like that. We were just like,
Yes,
wait,
100%.
like even though every single episode that we've seen thus far, the way that they ended, we were like, I kind of need the next one.
And I do want to say that is a big downside for me. And I feel like a lot of people want to hear this up front. The episodes are short. The first 4 episodes are all short. Again, that doesn't take away from the fact that it's a good show, but it's still something that I feel like I really want to see them work on, because
That's
you know,
valid.
it's, I don't know, just as a whole, I'm just hoping
That's valid.
that, in the future we can get longer episodes, but for now, that's just not where we're at. But I'm happy with what we got. Again, I just hopefully one day we can get them a little longer. But where can we find you, Ronin?
You can find me practicing the ways of force fu in my backyard or in my garage. I don't know where the hell I'm going to be doing it. I'll probably just go to some forest. At Ronin Unchained, reactions, reviews, a podcast, a Star Wars podcast that you best believe I'm going to be reigniting when this show hits. And you may or may not see these folks in that podcast. We'll see. But it was a blast watching this with you guys.
And of course for the self promotion, you can find me Bizzy Brown everywhere. Bizzy Reactions on Instagram, and you can find me dropping reviews over here on TeamJVS.
Go
Now, where
Mavericks.
can we find you, Sam? Oh, come on, man.
I'm sorry to do this, but what is our rating and closing thoughts of the season so far? What do you rate it? A to F? I'll start off. I was about to say A for me. It's an easy A. I don't have that kind of, because even when I remember back from The Mandalorian, the first season, like not every episode was like 60 minutes. Like it was like 40, 42. Like
and again,
it wasn't that long.
That's always been my beef, though. I want longer.
So for me, it was tight. It was good. I'm invested in something I don't know about. I have no idea what's happening, and I love that. So it's an A for me.
I think I'm gonna give it a A minus. A minus. Sticking with that. I know that the potential is there, and I know they can do crazy stuff. So I'm waiting for more. So yeah.
Yeah.
A minus.
And Ronin, you were A, right?
Yeah. I don't think I'm an A plus or A minus. Just A because, like you said, I'm invested and I don't know too much of this era. So
yeah. So yeah, you can find me right here on Bizzy Bound Reactions. I'm joking. We're gonna go. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for our review. This is gonna be debuting on Tuesday. Make sure you go and check it out. Hope you guys enjoyed our review. Peace, people. Thanks, guys.
Falling out the top of the